morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio, so today we need to take a good old look at the top 10 most expensive full art Pokemon that we've got around at the moment. Do remember that as I record this, Lost Origin has not yet actually come out, so we pretty obviously won't be including any cards from that. So we are going up to and including Astral Radiance. And judging by how well this video did the last time I did it several months ago, this seems to be the kind of topic I should be looking at. So, the usual deal, we have used TCG Play here. It's a good place to go and compare. But we haven't just used TCG Player, we've gone into eBay and a bunch of other websites, used it as tiebreakers, etc. So take this as a rough guide, and do know that where cards are close together in terms of value, it could absolutely change within a couple of days. You have been warned. So with all of that borne in mind, there are a few that didn't quite make it. So Galarian Zapdos is about a $10 card, very cool, unfortunately just not enough, if I'm honest with you. Cool card, very playable, not enough. Milotic at about $11, very popular Pokemon, didn't make the list. Glaceon and Espeon both come in at about $12, not the most playable, but they're evolutions and people love them. Dragonite also came in around, and actually we could put Jolteon in with those other EVs as well, although Jolteon has seen a bit of play, the VMAX has. Dragonite is a really interesting card with a lot of potential as playability-wise, also very popular, $12 card doesn't quite make it. Leafeon, for some reason, comes in slightly above the others on this list, and it must be a popularity thing. Leafeon VMAX has been good in the past, but I think it's fair to say it's not been that good recently. That deck really has dropped off the map. And I suppose we should mention Rayquaza V here as well. Rayquaza V is another one there. There's a little bit of playability there, but really we're talking about the fact that Rayquaza is just a very popular Pokemon. So in at number 10, we got Vaporeon, which is about a $14 card. And I'll be honest with you here, it's Evolving Skies. Sorry. And it really is that simple. People love the evolutions. And, Vaporeon, there's a little bit of potential there, but it's never actually come through. It's purely just the fact that people love the evolutions, and that jumps them up. But I don't really understand number 9. For some reason, Machamp V is here at $14, and I don't get it. Because the special art of Machamp has been wildly blown out of proportion value-wise, in a way that still doesn't make any sense. Machamp V makes no real sense being this high. It's not a good card. Machamp V is neither a good nor a playable card. Machamp, it's a Gen 1 Pokemon, and everybody loves a Gen 1 Pokemon, but it's not like Machamp is one of the most popular Pokemon around. It doesn't really make a huge amount of sense for it to be this high on the list. And I wish I could give you some kind of answer as to why it is so high on the list, but the fact of the matter is, it doesn't really make any sense, and I am sorry. Coming in at number 8, we've got Ninetales, and this is popularity over playability. Sometimes we see in this list playable cards, the full arts end up going up in value, because people like playing the full art version in their deck. That is not the case with Ninetales. It's a fun occasional tech. Ninetales has seen play, Ninetales has made its way into decks, because it can copy attacks and it's kind of fun. But I think it's very fair to say that Ninetales is fine. But this was really back when Fire decks were good, which is not the case at the moment. Nowadays, it's hanging on this list because people love Ninetales. In at number 7, we've got Sylveon. And this is partly a popularity thing, right? Sylveon is a very popular Pokemon. We don't need to beat around the bush on that one. But people love, people love Sylveon. Sylveon's great. But Sylveon has also been a pretty playable deck. Now again, this is one that has been better in the past. We saw it make top cut at the EUIC, which was lovely, but it's not really been around much since. I adore the ability to let you search for an item card and ends your turn. Great in the early game if you've got nothing going on. But this is another one where maybe it was good in the past, but it seems to be hanging on through popularity more so than playability. In at number 6, however, we've got Arceus, and we are completely the other end here. Arceus is on this list because it is playable, and sure, people love Arceus, but Arceus, as it stands at the moment, I would say it's one of the best decks in the format, but it's probably more fair to say it's like 3 or 4 of the best decks in the format. This is a very popular Pokemon in terms of playability, and Arceus V-Star is one of the best decks in the game, but even Arceus V itself can accelerate energy with Trinity Charge, which is pretty gosh darned awesome, and that explains how it gets so high up. Same thing in at number 5, we've got Galarian Moltres, and it's a very similar kind of thing. Galarian Moltres is a very, very, very good card. You can accelerate energy from the discard to itself, and then it goes and hits a good weakness, and everybody's happy. It is worth pointing out, and this is very important, that this was a phenomenal card when Mew was ruling the format. Mew is not as it was, but if you go and check the results of online events, it's not like Mew's run away and will never be seen again. Mew is still a good card that sees a bunch of play. No, it's not as good as it was, and I don't expect it to represent at the World Championships like it's represented at some others, but make no mistake about it, Mew is still a very good card, and in any world where Mew is a very good card, this is a very good counter. In at number 4, speaking of Mew, we've got Mew! Obviously, the full art version of the V, not the V Max. And partly, Mew is super popular. Let's not make any bones about that. People love Mew. Mew is cool. Mew is one of the most popular Pokemon from back in the day, so it makes sense that Mew would rep on this list moderately highly. But it's also full art Mew. Now, interestingly enough, full art Genesect, nowhere near this list. And Genesect, I think, it's a weird one, right? Genesect has got the drawing ability, which is great. I think Genesect is a better card than Mew, because Genesect on its own can still help a bunch of decks. Mew without Genesect really doesn't work. But it doesn't really matter. Either way, Genesect doesn't make the list, Mew does. So sure, it's a playability thing for Mew. People want the full art for their decks. But if it was just playability, Genesect would be here as well. The fact that Genesect isn't means that Mew is winning the popularity contest. Hey, speaking of which, in at number 3, we've got Umbreon. And you'll notice we've gone from like $14 at number 10 to $17 at number 3. I feel pretty good about this list, incidentally. I feel pretty good that the ones on the list deserve to be here and the ones not here don't, but I do just want to point out that with a couple of exceptions, we'll get there in a minute, this list is very, very close together. These full arts tend to hold quite similar value, so I have done, and like I say, I did have to do digging around a bunch of sites to really try and make sure that the order here was correct, and by the time I upload it, maybe it's all changed around again. But the point is, these are very close, please be aware. Umbreon is the most popular evolution. There is a reason why the cards above Umbreon on this list are not EVs. This is number 1. There's a reason why Sylveon makes the list above the others. There's a reason why Umbreon is number 1. When you look at the EVs, Umbreon is the most popular. It's also the best, incidentally, so that is why. And to be fair, although Umbreon's not good, we know Umbreon V Max has a nice ability, so maybe there's an element of this coming in here. But Umbreon does not see a lot of play in decks. It did. There was a time. But it's not there at the moment. So as it stands, Umbreon V, here largely because of popularity. But do remember, if it becomes good in the future, this one's gonna get good. Now, in at number 2, we've got Pikachu V, but I do need to be very clear that we are talking the Pikachu V, the full art from Vivid Voltage, not the Pikachu V full art from Brilliant Stars. For some reason, the Pikachu V, the full art from Brilliant Stars, it's not on the list. It's about a $10 card. I could have put it right on the bottom as an honorable mention, maybe, but it didn't really deserve to be on the list. This Pikachu does, and it's not like a playability thing. No one's playing Pikachu. I don't want to be mean here. No one's playing Pikachu. Pikachu is not a particularly good deck, nor is Pikachu V Max. So, it's kind of a popularity contest. What's the difference? This one I can answer. Vivid Voltage is an older set, And the only really good thing about Vivid Voltage is the Pikas. So it's a set that people are kind of buying and stashing, but it's not that popular a set. And it's getting on a bit, which is pushing up the price of cards like Pikachu in there. Whereas if we look at something like the more recent Pikachu, it's a couple sets old. It's really not that impressive in terms of age or even value, because it's not there. Now, I think if we jump a few years in the future, I think these two end up way closer together, because at that point they're basically the same kind of card, full of unplayable Pikachu Vs from years ago, and when they both fit that description, I think we can sit here and look and think that actually, yeah. But then again, maybe Vivid Voltage just hasn't sold as well, and that's always going to keep the price of the Vivid Voltage one a little bit higher. Either way, I think it's absolutely fair to point out that as it stands at the moment, this is very much the one from Vivid Voltage. And in a number one, and it's not even close, it's Charizard V at $35. And I do legit mean it's not even remotely close. Bearing in mind, we had Vaporeon at number 10 at $14. And we went up by a whopping $4 until we hit Pikachu at number 18. Whereas Charizard is double. Okay, near enough double Pikachu. So we went up $4 from 10 to 2 and $17 from 2 to 1. It's not even close when you're looking at the most popular, the most valuable Pokemon V, phrase it how you will. Charizard is number one and it has no real competition. And there's an element of playability here, because we have seen some Charizard VMAX and V-Star decks actually representing at big tournaments lately. I've watched some on stream. It's been nice to watch. But it's also fair to assume that this is just Charizard. Charizard is the most popular Pokemon. Charizard is always going to attract the most value. And you'll notice there's a real theme here that every time we have one of these lists, Charizard, if it's eligible to be on the list, is always right up near the top. Sure, the evolutions are absolute masters of filling out the bottom of the top 10, but when we get to the top of the top 10, it is all about Charizard. And that's number one. And there we go. Now you know, ladies and gentlemen. Now you know. So now it's over to you guys. Tell me which of these cards you have. Tell me which of these cards you want. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk Pokemon and card games and Pokemon card games and all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can join the Discord, chat some Pokemon, get pretty much weekly bonus pods where answer all of your Pokemon, and to be fair, any other questions, and where we can share deck lists and have lots of fun. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.